Trail talk time. Out on this beautiful trail. Sun is shining. Weather is sweet. Make me wanna move my dancing feet. Just loving the gorgeous vibes today. And I wanted to talk about, control versus letting go. Oftentimes, we think that we can control things, control the outcome of things in this world. And of course we can to a certain degree. But ultimately, we can really only control ourselves, right? We can control our own reality by choosing our thoughts and our words and our actions. As I was thinking of this today, I thought of a quote from Rumi. He says, "Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. But today I am wise, so I'm changing myself." I absolutely love that quote. Rumi is so wise, and he realizes that we can't control everything in this world, but we can certainly do what we can to control our own thoughts and words and actions, and start to use our energy in wise ways. I think a lot of our need or want for control has to do with our fear for the future, because most of us, we fear the unknown, and that's what keeps us in certain patterns, certain cycles for a long time. We get used to certain things and get into these comfort zones, and it starts to create patterns in our subconscious mind, and we start to just run on autopilot. And eventually, the more that we do something, the harder it might be for us to break out of those patterns. And it can continue to build this fear of the unknown the more that we shy away from it. Everything in life is just a perspective. So we can shift our perspective from one of fear of the unknown to one of excitement, right? Fear and excitement are very closely linked. Oftentimes we have things that we are looking forward to in life, that we want to do, that are coming up, and there may be some fear arising. Like when I'm performing music, there's still that little bit of fear that arises. Get a little bit nervous and you feel that fear, but along with that comes the excitement, right? Being a little bit afraid is okay, because it shows you that it's something important to you. And this life is certainly important. If you're fearing the future, it means that you genuinely care about what's going to happen in the future. But a lot of that fear comes from wishing we could control the future, and one can try as hard as they can, but they'll eventually realize that there's so much that's not within our own control, and we must just let it go, right? Just like Frozen. Let it go, let it go. Or else we'll be just sitting there frozen, right? So I like what Alan Watts said. I think it was Alan Watts. He was talking about like the difference that he's sort of seen and recognized in like Eastern versus Western cultures, and seeing there was an example of needing protection for your feet walking on the ground, and he looked at a Western style of thinking, you know, people saying, well, we need to cover this whole land in like animal pelt or fur, right? Cover the entire land so when we walk it's soft. And that compared with the Eastern view, to just simply make a pair of moccasins or shoes for yourself out of that pelt, you know, use that little bit of material, put it around your own feet, and that way wherever you walk it's going to be soft and your feet will be protected. That's a beautiful metaphor. You know, not that Christianity is the only sort of religion or group that does this, but it's very well known for it's very well known for going around and pushing that message so hard. You know, people feeling like they need to spread this religion to the world. And there's nothing really wrong with that, you know, if you feel something is helpful to spread it and share it. In a way, that's what I'm doing with these videos, but when you're shoving it down people's throat, then that's a whole nother issue. And that has to do with control again, right? We can never really control the way that other people see or think or perceive this life. We can only really control our own attitude and our own perspective. Savan Bomar, an incredibly wise spiritual master, he talks about these sort of realms of, you know, numbers, and seeing these archetypal sort of realities of numbers, as in, you know, a realm of statistics, of calculations, which is more related to our left side of our brain, right? Trying to analyze and break everything down and try and sort of figure it all out. And that comes with, you know, predictions and trying to see the future. And, you know, we all have these sort of capacities within us, and it's helpful to look at things statistically and break things down like that to a degree. But he talks about, you know, if you become too far onto this side, then you are missing the magic of life, right? The mystery of life, the whimsy of life, the unknown. And that's what can make life so exciting, right? Actually not knowing what the future will hold. Because if we absolutely knew every single thing, then what would be the point of living? It would just be like watching a movie that you've already seen. You know, it would be boring. So it's about that balance, right? Of course we want to feel like we have a certain control to a degree, right? Like, not to take on the mindset that I am a victim of circumstance in this world and everything is just happening to me and I have absolutely no control. Because one could look at it like that, but I feel it's a delicate balance, right? We have this incredible willpower to impose our will onto this world and move with this mighty energy to create and to bring things into creation and fruition. You know, we have an incredible power of control in that sense, right? We can control our energy, but when we're trying to control others and control, you know, all the external worlds around us, that's when we might be just wasting our energy, right? You know, in the last few videos I've been talking about people who are doing all they can to try and control the population of this world. And I see it's been happening for so long, right? People who have been in power have been doing all that they can to manipulate people to stay in power, so that, you know, the people feel disempowered and they feel like they need somebody to rule over them. And the key word is manipulation, right? You know, they feel this need to control people, and to do it, they need to manipulate people. You know, they need to trick and deceive people to try and gain that control over them. And this is why so many people feel so strongly against, you know, those who have more power in this world, against governments and against big organizations that have so much power, because they've gotten all that power in a dishonest way. And that's gonna rub people the wrong way. You know, people don't like to be lied to. People don't like to be tricked and deceived, of course. And all of that comes about from these people feeling the need to control everything, right? And so we see how unhealthy it is. It's an unhealthy way of living. You have to be disingenuous eventually if you want to try and take control of this world, take control of everything. And I think personally I couldn't live in that type of way, right? I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't get a good sleep at night if I was being so dishonest with people, trying to take their power, to take control for myself. That's such a struggle, right? Such a struggle of energy. You're always having to keep up with your last lie. You're always having to cover your tracks. You're having to live in such a sneaky way. And that's just so much energy that you don't need to be wasting. You know, life can be very simple, and there's so much beauty in the simplicity of life. You know, I've spoken about just being so thankful for the little simple things in life, just being alive, right? Being able to breathe, this beautiful energy, this beautiful chi that gives us this life. Coming back to the simple things, realize you don't really need to control much at all. We're blessed with all the resources we need in this world. And if people simply come together and, stop trying to control everybody, then we can figure out how we can actually utilize these resources in a wiser way, right? Imagine if people were to let go of trying to control everybody and we came together as one. The world would be an amazing place. And this is the type of, vision that I see for us in the future. We're living in such a beautiful time where we have so much at our fingertips, right? We have all this amazing information and knowledge available to us. And I think I've spoken about that being, part of this age of awakening, this age of Aquarius, this age of information and truth, where the truth is coming to light. And a lot of that has to do with the way that this world has been run, and people realizing that there have been people that have been trying to take control of this world for so long. But now the information is out there and they're finding it harder to lie to people because we're realizing the truth a lot more quickly. It's right there as we go online. We see all the information, and that's empowering us, right? It's empowering everybody. They can't live in the shadows anymore. Everything is coming to light. So my advice is, instead of trying to, change this world, ask yourself, what can I do to improve myself? To use my energy and my time most wisely. What can I do that's going to be most empowering? Because if you don't have the power yourself, then what are you going to share with this world, right? Chaos says you can't give what you haven't received at all. It's the truth. Oh man, so true. So yeah, I feel we all do have a great amount of power, but we might be, giving it away or wasting it trying to control things that really aren't in our control at all. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share for today. Hope this was helpful. Hope everyone has a beautiful day. Hopefully get out and enjoy this wonderful sunshine. Peace and limitless love.